what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Turtles Love Pizza. This is the podcast where we go over everything to do with the Ninja Turtles, be it the movies, comics, action figures, whatever it is, we talk about it. And every now and then we have a couple of intermissions. Now, next up, this is Steven.
And this is Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
What is up, Steven?
Oh, a lot of personal personal shenanigans going on right now, but other than that, we have some sickness in the family. But other than that, everything is a-okay. What about you?
Doing okay over here, just a little tired.
As usual. Any
As usual.
let's huh?
As usual.
Yep. So why don't we just jump right into our weekly purchases? From what I saw on my text messages, I don't even think you got anything this week.
I got one thing, and it was an
Ooh,
ordeal to get.
what was it?
Uh, Not because of scarcity, but because of the company that I was dealing with.
Okay, explain both.
Okay, so I'm not going to name the name of the company. Anyways,
Okay.
they canceled a pre-order that I had put in, and they make you pay ahead of time for your pre-order. So they're like, "Oh, it's been because it'd been over a year since I pre-ordered this. It was the
Wow.
Turtles in Time figures, and they said they're not actually going to get the figures that I wanted, and they canceled the pre-order and they gave me credit for them, right? And this is the only thing
Okay.
I've ever ordered from them. And so I was like, okay, I have a credit. Let me try to figure out what to get. So I ordered the Playmates Last Ronin figure, right? Because I have the Chase in
Oh,
the black and white. So I was
yeah.
like, I need the regular one. So I ordered that, and I ordered the Funko Pop Mirage Casey Jones. Okay,
Okay.
those are the two
Okay.
things I ordered from them. I hit almost my exact number of the credit. I think I have like 10 cents left on this credit,
Okay.
which I'm not going to worry about. Anyways, so I put the order in, and then the guy said to just email him, and then he would like add the credit, and then I wouldn't have to pay anything, right?
Okay.
So he does it. He refunds my money because when you make the order, you have to pay for it.
Right.
And then apparently the warehouse thought that I had canceled the order, so they never sent it, right?
Okay.
And so it was like a week later, and I was like emailing him back, and I was like, "Hey, send another support ticket. Hey, like, is this gonna ship? It says it's gonna ship, but it also says it's been fulfilled." And he's like, "Oh, sorry about that. I think there was a mix-up. We'll send it now." Right? So then he sends it, and then he puts a tracking thing on it,
Uh-huh.
and then a week later, and there's no movement on the tracking. Right? It's like it said the label was created in the system, but they never received the package, and it's been a
Okay.
week. So then I emailed the guy again. I was like, did this actually ship? Because it's been a week and there's been no movement in this. He's like, oh, I think we lost the package, so let me send you another one. It's like, fine. So then he sends another one, right? I
Yeah.
finally get it, and it's only the last Ronin figure. I didn't get my Casey Jones Funko Pop,
Oh.
so I was just like, whatever.
So what happens in that case? Like, are you gonna ask them to resend it?
The Casey Jones, I guess it's on back order now, which is annoying because when I ordered it 3 weeks ago, they had it in stock.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to feel your pain a little bit. Yeah.
It has been very frustrating dealing with them. I'm not going to put them on blast because I'm sure they're a fine company, but it's been this whole situation has been very frustrating for me. Like the first half of my pre-order with the Turtles and Time figures I got from them, it's just
Yeah.
the second half they just didn't get restocked. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Just because of that, I am now curious on who the company is. So make sure to tell me when we're done with this.
all right, I'll let you know.
Yeah, that way I don't purchase from them and have to go through everything you just
Yeah, I
explained.
mean, their customer service was nice. Like they totally were good about it. It's just something happens in their warehouse that just gets all mixed up.
I gotcha. And the customer service, it was not automated.
No, it was a person writing the emails. So
Okay, I would definitely appreciate that more.
yeah.
But anyways, yes. What are we talking about today, Andrew? We are talking about. So last week what happened was we finished our read of Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IDW DC collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we are talking about the Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie. You
That
excited
was
to break
very
this?
loosely based on that comic book series.
Very loosely based on the comic book series. Andrew, are you ready for this? Because I am kind of excited. We already have a sort of back and forth
Oh yeah, that's actually I
discussing.
was watching it because I was like, "What is this crap?"
All right, man. Unfortunately, you are the one who's going to have to break down the plot for us, sir. So go for it.
All right, so we start off with Batgirl, who is not in the comic. Okay, I think the addition of Batgirl is good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Batgirl is like on patrol. There's this generator that's about to be stolen by the Foot, so she goes in there to like stop them. Well, she was actually like touring it, right? She wasn't
Hmm.
Batgirl; she was Barbara Gordon. And so she's touring it, and then all of a sudden the Foot attacks, and she like saves some scientists' lives. And then in come the turtles, and she thinks they're like metahumans because they don't know
Yep.
about mutants yet. And so, but the generator gets stolen, so she assumes the turtles took it, right? So she then tells Batman what happened, and then Batman's like, "Oh no!" And so there's one more piece of Wayne Tech that's missing because that was from Powers, and so he decides to like set a trap for the turtles, right?
Right.
And then the Penguin actually wants to steal the tech to sell it to some new player in town.
Right.
So we see the turtles attack the Penguin on the roof across the street from Wayne Tech, and then the Foot Clan tries to rob Wayne Tech, but Batman set a trap, and he takes out the Foot, and then he fights Shredder, and then meanwhile the turtles defeat the Penguin. And what happens next? Oh, and then they run into the Batmobile, and they're like,
Right.
"This is so cool!" And then Batman finds the turtles, and he beats the crap out of them. And then we have like that pizza scene that we saw in the comic, which is one of the few things that was actually true to the comic, right?
Yep.
And then obviously Batman wins. He steals Raph's Psi, and so obviously, and then he like runs tests on them, and we find out that the turtles are just visiting from New York. They didn't cross some new dimension to get
Yep.
there, which is kind of weird.
We'll talk
And
about
then
it.
yeah, and then Batman figures out that they're like mutants, and so yeah, we also find out that Shredder's working with Ra's al Ghul, and I feel like that reveal was a little early, but it is what it is.
Yep.
And so Shredder is working with Ra's because he wants the Lazarus Pit, and yeah, it makes really no sense.
Yep.
Anyways, um, yeah, so Shredder brings mutagen with him, and he tests it on one of Roz's guys and turns him into some like I think it's like a wolf man or something.
Yeah.
So anyways, the turtles find their way into the Batcave because Donatello's super smart and he figured it out instead of Splinter tracking Batman, which made a lot more sense.
Wait.
And,
Okay. Okay. Keep going. Keep going.
yeah, and so they meet each other. They fight with Robin. Um, they're like we're on the same side here. And then what happens? Oh, there's something going on with Arkham Asylum. We find out that Shredder gave Joker the Venom, not Venom,
Mutagen.
mutagen,
Yeah.
and Joker already had his Venom. So then he combines them and turns the um, inmates at Arkham into mutants, and then they fight the Turtles and Batman. Batman gets injected, and he becomes like a real
Man
Batman.
bat. Oh
A
yeah.
man bat, a real Batman or a man bat, and
Yeah.
then the turtles or Donatello and Batgirl come up with a retro mutagen to save him,
Uh
and
huh.
then they have like this big blow up in the Batcave, like how dare you? Because it was all a distraction so that Shredder could steal the Cloud Seeder
Right.
from Wayne Tech, and so Batman doesn't trust turtles, and then Raph gives a whole Fast and Furious speech about family, and then it changes Batman's heart. Like
Oh.
the Grinch's heart grew like 10 sizes that day, right?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
it instantly just turns around. It's like, you're right. Which
You're
I was like,
right. Yeah.
what in the world just happened?
I wish
Anyways,
I had a family.
and then they go to Ace Chemicals to like fight and stop them from turning Gotham into a bunch of mutants.
Yeah.
And I thought the only really cool thing was they introduced the Turtle Van in this instead of
Oh
having two
yes.
Batmobiles, which made no sense in the comic.
Yeah. And I
Um,
don't think in the comic that the Ninja Turtles could fit in that
yeah.
Batmobile.
Yeah, and they take down Shredder. They win. Shredder falls into a vat of Ace chemicals, and it sets up the really cool post-credit scene, which is Shredder as Joker.
Shut up! I missed that.
You missed that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, like he falls into the chemicals, and then the end credit scene is Shredder coming out of the chemicals, and he has a Joker face.
What the f? I didn't even know there was the end credit scene. I did not wait for that.
I did. I mean, because the artwork going at the beginning of the credits was really cool.
Oh my god! You got to be kidding me. Okay,
Yeah,
I missed it, but anyways, let's get into it. Okay, really quick. What did you like about this movie?
I did like having like the turtle van in there. I
Hmm.
felt like the Ace chemicals plant was a better ending kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I feel like the introduction to Batgirl was good.
I
Like
liked her too.
I liked her
Yeah,
character, and it was really cool just seeing her as Barbara Gordon at the beginning and like stopping the ninjas. That was pretty cool.
yeah. I'm kind of glad they had her instead of kind of like a no name scientist. You know,
She was basically Casey Jones in this
she
because they
was
took
better than
Casey Jones
Casey Jones
out
though.
and they put her in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Anything else?
no, that's it.
Okay, okay. Let me talk about a couple of items. We kind of texted over this already, and then
Yeah, go for it.
piggyback off of me or don't. But there are a couple things that I thought they did better with this. Number one, I know it's weird, but I thought it was a lot better in terms of not having some random Deus Ex Machina at the end. And what I mean by that is that the turtles are just visiting from New York. I know it's weird, but there's this whole like subplot in the comic book where Casey Jones has to teleport over, and while that is all while all of that is happening, the turtles ooze is reverting in their body, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. I didn't really think that that was planned out properly in the comic book, and in the movie they just get rid of it completely. So I thought that was more interesting because like there were some discrepancies. Like one book, Leonardo would be like hit really hard because the mutagen was disappearing from his blood, and then like the final book, he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna will my way out of this," which did not make sense to me. In this case, they're kind of in the same world, which also doesn't make sense, but but makes more sense to me than the actual comic did.
I feel like the dimension thing made more sense, and it had like a better. It was a better idea
Yeah,
for the
but it
plot.
wasn't done well.
I don't think the mutagen becoming inert was a good plot point, like you were
Yeah,
saying. Like
yeah,
it didn't. It was kind of a weird stake to add. But I think if you just say, "Oh, we're from another dimension," and like we have to get back in time, or like the window closes, like
yeah.
that's an easy plot point. You go with that. It's not as convoluted as, "Oh, well, our mutagen's becoming inert," and like it made no sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
and what I mean by that is I think if they found something in between, it would have been a lot better. Like I just didn't like the way they did the whole reverting of the mutagen kind of stuff, and we're on the same page there. Another thing I thought was good is we kind of talked about this in book 3 or book 4. I forgot when Robin showed up, but pretty much we were saying, why is Robin showing up so late? So I kind of like that he was introduced a little earlier. I do think a lot of the dialogue is pretty cringe, especially the conversation about mutagen versus ooze. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But this is definitely a kids movie. This is made for kids.
No.
It's
So
even.
that's where you and I differ right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I felt like tonally this was so much everywhere, right? Because I
Okay.
looked up the writer of this, and the writer of this, she does a lot of good work, but most of what she does is kids TV, like stuff you'll see on your Cartoon Network.
Who's the writer?
Ah, I forgot her name. Hold on, let me
Oh,
look.
sorry.
Marley Halpin Grazer, Grasser.
Okay. And I forgot to bring this up, but who directed this?
Jake Castorena.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Keep going about your
Yeah, so
point.
she does like Teen Titan Go and like all the other stuff. You know, like stuff you see that's definitely DC, but is on Cartoon Network. You know,
Right.
and so it's weird because this is a PG-13 thing, and you're having things where you see blood and you see like some like kind of violent stuff, right? So it's
Right.
not
I
really
agree.
for kids, but it's also written for kids, right? So it's like this weird dynamic of like being very cartoony, but then also being like adult,
Yeah.
and like it
Yeah.
just really didn't match its tone.
I
Like I
agree.
feel like they should have
And
picked a lane and just stayed with it.
yeah, because if you're gonna go more adult, I think you got to use grittier animation, right?
Yeah,
But in this,
definitely.
the animation is very kiddie, very childlike, and they make Batman a little more colorful. He's in his blue and gray, which I like in comic books, but in
In
this
this, I did not
animated
like it.
movie, oh really?
Yeah, it did not make sense to me for him to be like this in this one.
I think if you're gonna do the blue and gray, you got to go with the Batman animated series style animation.
Yeah. And they
Like,
were kind of like hinting at it, like all the blimps in the air and things like that.
yeah. But they just don't have that in this movie. Like
No,
the animation is I wouldn't say it's not good, but like the way they developed the character designs and stuff, it's not my favorite. Like
I feel like they ruined the best part of the comic, which was the character designs.
the art, yeah.
Yeah,
I really wish they went with a different animation house or something. But yeah, okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Another thing that I liked is that Splinter wasn't really here in this movie. There wasn't like an additional subplot. Another thing that was good was that okay, so Raph has this Fast and Furious speech in this movie, but in the comic, it's way more melodramatic. Where Batman takes him to crime alley and is
yeah.
like, "This is why I became Batman." Cry, 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 raindrops, and that's definitely not how Batman would do it. It would be like a quick in and out conversation, which I appreciate in this movie because Batman doesn't talk as much as he is written in the comic book. So
But he's
that
so
that
cheesy.
it
He's
is.
so cheesy, and I
It's
miss Splinter. I really feel like Splinter was a good part of the comic.
what? Are you serious?
Yes,
Dude, Splinter okay, my problem with Splinter in the comic book is he's an expository character who does just barely enough action to be in the book.
I feel like Splinter was like the good balance between like the turtles and like like having someone there, right? It's the equivalent of like Batman having Alfred with him,
Right.
right?
But
And so
I
like you have like that duality, right?
yeah.
Which did not exist. There wasn't a good balance here, especially since like the characterization of the turtles wasn't great.
Okay. So here's my thing because I think my feeling is that in the animated movie they really I mean not in the animated movie but in the comic book they gave him way too much to do.
Well,
But
I mean,
that's
it's
just me.
Splinter.
No, I know, but like if you watch we just did the whole first season of the original TV show, right?
Yeah,
So Splinter is in it and he does a lot during those episodes, but like he knows his place.
but that's a different take of Splinter, right? Because that Splinter's like more of an absentee father than like an actual mentor and teacher, like the Splinter was in the comic.
No, but you're no, I'm not talking about Rise. I'm talking about the original series.
The original series of what?
TMNT, like the 80s
Oh, the
cartoon.
'80s cartoon
Yeah.
Splinter.
Oh, you know
He
what?
was
You know
also
what?
involved. He was really involved in the
Actually,
first
yeah,
season.
I'm thinking about it right now, and he was pretty involved.
Yeah,
So what am I thinking about? Oh, okay. So what I guess I'm getting at is,
because in
I think
Rise
in
he's
the
not
comic,
around a lot.
huh?
In Rise of TMNT, Splinter's not around a lot.
Yeah, that is true. So I don't know. I kind of liked it that Donatello did a little more legwork on this one, and like Raphael doesn't really make sense. Leo makes sense, but you're right. Leo is always going to Splinter for like, advice.
Yeah,
So maybe they could have had Splinter, but as like more of a side character.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like in the comic he was a little overwritten. And then
I think a lot of things in the comic were overwritten.
yeah, I think that was our main con.
Yeah.
Let me think. Oh, what do you think about Poison Ivy in this one?
It was better than having her as some mantis.
I thought it was hilarious that she was a Venus flytrap and she couldn't move.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I all in all, like I feel like I had a little more fun than you did in this particular iteration.
probably. I mean, just for me, like it just having just read the comic, it just kind of was like, like the thing that really got to me was Shredder's character. Like
Okay,
Shredder's character in the cart in this cartoon was horrible. Like in the
why do you
comic,
say that?
he was like this menacing, like cutthroat, like just villain, right?
Yeah,
And like he was the main villain throughout the entire comic. Even with Ra's al Ghul like stepping in, like Ra's al Ghul still wasn't like the main villain, right?
yeah,
And in
okay,
this one, Ra's al Ghul was the main villain, period. And then Shredder was treated more like an underling to Ra's al Ghul
okay. I see where you're going with this. This is
because he
kind of
just
like
kind of
a
like because he's like Shredder, take care of him. Shredder, do this, you know.
yeah,
Which
and
like I felt like wasn't really like it didn't make sense.
And I think they could have had a conversation where Shredder is like, I found out about your secret Lazarus pit and I want some of it, because
Yeah,
you just have Shredder being like, when are you going to give me the Lazarus pit? Like,
pretty much.
and then, you know what, though? This Shredder kind of very much reminds me of the Shredder in the original 80s cartoon because, like, Shredder is always
Yeah,
like
he definitely was
under,
more like that.
yeah, he's like whiny and shit. Like,
I
it's so
feel like
funny.
I feel like the writer of this read the Wikipedia on the comic and then was just going by like her own experience of knowing DC and probably watching the Ninja Turtle cartoon when she was little.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Like
Yeah.
but I loved the scene when Mike is sitting in the Batmobile with Batman and Batman's just like press all the buttons.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. Okay, overall, like would you say that it was a fun movie or no, you're just turned off completely?
I mean, it was a fun movie. Like, I feel like the first time I watched it, I didn't remember that it was like even like related to the comic book, so I
Yeah.
had more fun. But having just read the comic book and watching this, like, it was not the same experience at all.
Oh, I have a question for you. Okay, so how did you feel about Batman becoming Batman?
The Man Bat,
Yeah,
um, it
because
was
that's
okay.
new.
No, I mean he happened in the animated series.
No, I know, but what I mean is that wasn't in the comic book.
Yeah, that wasn't in. I mean, a lot of things were in like the whole Ace Chemicals thing was not in the comic book.
That is true. Yes.
I feel like it was an interesting kind of take,
hmm
and yeah, I mean, I thought it was a nice little side point, which also kind of fed into like Batman being pissed off at the turtles, right?
hmm Expand
But
on that.
you know, like I thought that was like a good little tension between them when they get back to the Batcave, which really did not resolve in a good way. Like the
Oh,
resolution of that was stupid, of just the
Wrath.
Fast and Furious, but we're family kind of talk.
Yeah, I
I feel
agree.
like that should have been handled a little bit differently.
hmm
I feel like Batman should have just like stormed off and like went off in his own in the Batmobile, and then like he's getting into trouble, and the turtles pull up in the van, you know, and
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
like we still have your back no matter what, and then Batman like reluctantly is like,
All
just don't
right.
get in my way, you know, something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, all right. I can see that. So let's do pizza slices real quick. Where do you lie in pizza slices for this movie?
It gets a 3.
Wow, dude, that I was expecting worse.
I mean, there's a lot of fun moments, and like I do realize that like I have a little bias right now because I just read the comic book again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But also like the voice cast was good. Like Eric Bauza's back; he's as Leonardo.
yeah.
This
I
time it says
agree.
Splinter. Darren Chris was a decent Raphael.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Oh,
then
Troy Baker was actually Batman and the Joker.
yes,
I
doing
thought
his
he,
best impressions.
yeah, I thought he was close, but no cigar with his Batman. He was almost there, but not quite.
It's still a good Batman voice, but yeah,
It
definitely,
is.
definitely not like the original.
Yeah. And while we're at it, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. Kevin Conroy recently passed away. And yes, we are recording this in November of 2022, even though you're going to listen to it in like April of 2023. But yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
yeah, I mean, he did a good impression. I mean, he does the voice of Batman and the Joker in like I think the Arkham Asylum games.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a piece of our childhood has passed.
unfortunately,
And
yes,
he will be missed. He was a great Batman, Mr. Kevin Conroy.
yes, and you have a video of him giving you a pep talk.
Forever I will have him. Thanks to you, Andrew. Andrew got me a cameo of Kevin Conroy. What was that for my birthday or Christmas?
This Christmas, like a few years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. I still have it, thank God. So he'll
I
always
hope
be a
you
part
didn't
of
delete
us.
it.
What?
I said I hope you didn't delete it.
Yeah, I wonder if I could just like NFT it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, ask Thomas.
Um, all right, let's oh wait, I forgot to give my review.
Yeah, what's your pizza slices, man?
I was also a 3. I was close to a 4, man. I was pretty close to a 4. I had a
Yeah, your
lot of
standards are so low.
Dude, I actually expected you to give it a little worse than a 3 like I said, but I'm giving it a 3 on this one. But yeah, I agree with your assessment, but I definitely had a lot more fun than you did. And I liked a lot of the ideas a little more. But in terms of both the comic book and the movie, it wasn't pulled off the way I would have wanted to. And I think that's going to change when we read Batman slash TMNT based on
Volume
the.
2?
No, no, no. I'm just talking about the based on the animated TV shows
Oh
for
yeah.
the 2012 and the original animated series. Because I went ahead and looked back at the art and it's amazing and there's less dialogue from Batman. So hopefully that book is a lot better.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall. That's going to be a little later on, so hopefully you guys continue to listen to this and continue to um, join in. Next up, though, really quick, we're going to do our mini review of the Rise of the TMNT, episode 20, Mystic Library and the Purple Game. So I'm going to read the Netflix breakdown. The turtles dive through the depths of a hidden library to rescue Mayhem, and Donnie obsesses over a competitive new video game. All right, Andrew, real quick, what did you like? Actually, yeah, which segment did you like more?
I feel like it was a toss up between the two of them. I like both of them. I
Okay,
think I did like Mystic Library just a little bit more though.
okay, why?
I feel like it was I like the idea of kind of exploring like this mystic hidden library
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was fun with the kids room, the kiddie room, and then they're like new toy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I thought that was fun. It was nice to see Raph kind of playing hero in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
I just like the mysticism of it. I like just that it really has like a little bit more mystery to it and a lot more fun. The other one,
yeah,
the purple game, I thought it was a lot of fun. Definitely didn't see like Donnie becoming basically it's like what's that one movie? Ender's Game.
Oh, okay.
Basically Ender's Game, right? So they think they're playing a video game, but it's actually real. So
Oh,
yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of like this Ender's Game kind of vibe to it,
Yeah, that makes sense.
and then a nice callback to the purple dragons or whatever.
Yeah, that is true. I thought it was interesting that I felt like Donatello was kind of like the head of both of these episodes, even though, Raphael definitely stood out a lot more in Mystic Library, but like Donatello is the one that's like, we should go to the library, you know?
Yeah, but like he's not really the head because he screws up pretty soon, pretty
Yeah,
early
I
on.
know. But basically, like when you get to the Mystic Library, there's like a please don't raise your voice to a certain
Yeah,
level, or else like what animal is it? A crow or it's birds, right?
these are bats.
Is it? So a bat will fly down, capture you, and throw you in the kitty room
Yeah,
where all
hush
these
bats.
hash bat,
Hush bats.
hush bats,
Yeah,
which is really funny because we just did Batman versus TMNT, so the bats were involved in that one too.
can't get away
Um,
from the bats, man.
yeah. Wait, what?
Can't get away from the bats.
No, you can't, because Batman's everywhere, man. Um, but yeah, if it comes down to it, I think I like the hidden library just a hint more than the purple game, primarily because just like you said, it kind of feels like a Harry Potter like library, just an enormous place, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mystic characters in it, and I just thought it was a lot more fun rather than Donatello's playing a video game while his brothers are trying to get him involved in stuff or whatever.
Pretty
So,
much.
huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let's just let's jump into the pizza slices. I'm gonna give this particular episode and its segments a 3. I'm gonna give Mystic Library a 4, and I'm gonna give um the purple game a 2, so it rounds to a 3.
Wow, you really did not like the purple game at all.
I thought it was okay. I just like it wasn't as inventive, and it didn't really further the plot. Another thing I liked about the library one is it's cuz Mayhem, which is April's dog, or creature animal, like it gets stuck in the mirror, and that's why they're doing all this trouble. So you do get a lot of the characters in this episode, so I really thought that was a lot of fun, even though it doesn't really further the plot with the shredder. But yeah, I still enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Wow, you're a hater. I gave it a 4.
You give both of them a 4.
Yep,
Oh, all right, all right.
because you're a hater.
Why do you give the purple game a 4?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. You have like little, callbacks to like previous episodes. You have April showing up for a little cameo. You have mechs. I mean, it's got everything.
It has April in it?
Yeah, April's like playing the video game too, and like the
Oh, you're
before.
right. You're right. You're right.
You were not paying attention. No wonder you gave it a 2.
No, I watched it 3 weeks ago. I didn't
That's
rewatch
probably
it.
giving it a 2 as well. Like, based on my spotty recollection.
Yeah. And then I remembered much more of the library one. So I'm like, oh, if I remember the library one more, I must have liked it more.
Okay. Go back and
But yeah.
rewatch it. That's your homework.
Nah, man, we're gonna move on from that.
No, I'm saying
Um,
you have to rewatch it.
oh, okay, I'll rewatch it, and maybe when we restart season 3, I'll do a remedied review of it,
All right, you do that.
a revisit. Yeah.
Revisit. There you go.
But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the end of our season 2. Don't worry though, we're only gonna take 1 month off, and then we'll be back with season 3.
Well, the thing is,
Andrew,
they're never gonna know that we took a month off.
oh, you know what? You're you're absolutely right. I should mention you guys won't know, but we are taking a hiatus for about a month. And
Which we'll
then
never know unless Steven keeps us in the podcast.
oh dude, I keep most everything in the podcast except for empty spaces of discussion.
Okay.
Okay, so season 3, we will be back. Ooh, with the series I'm actually really excited about. Andrew, do you remember what we're doing?
No, but I'm looking it up right now.
It's okay. I'll tell you because I have it up. We are gonna start season 3 with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're gonna review the first 6 issues, and then we're gonna complete our viewing of the Rise of the TMNT episode 21 through 26. So, guys, join us as we dive into another crossover. All right, that's it for now. We'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Cowabunga.